everything of mine is intentional to create clarity. I need there to be no distractions in my life. Like the best sell you could ever do is from you to your wife or your chick. That's what the fuck you got, bro? Nobody thinks that's fucking attractive. A real dude isn't gonna just settle for personality. I mean, people use alcohol and drugs for two reasons. Celebrate, medicate. And the whole thing is the celebration turns into one long distraction that keeps them from their actual goals. So that's what I respect in a man. Whatever is difficult for that man that I know he went after and achieved, I respect that. If you wanna see a man chosen by God, there's two things that you're gonna know are very obvious. So if you're sitting there as a fat dad who's not chasing his dreams, what the fuck are you even telling your kids? Your words don't matter, motherfucker. Too much kindness breeds a lack of accountability. If you're too kind to your workers, they will fuck you over.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Romero podcast. This is a podcast. We look past headlines. We look into the grind. We look at the framework, the blueprint of people that have built something from the ground up. Our next guest needs no introduction. And if you don't know who he is, I know you've seen his videos. Testament that you could get it all back and more. Wes Watson, thank you for being here with us.
Hey, good shit, bro. I'm glad to be here. Javier, thank you. Yeah, basically, bro, if you haven't seen some of my videos, you're not on social media. I have billions of views a month across all platforms, mainly because when you get a little fame, people either share your shit in a good way or a bad way. And hey, I'm a firm believer in no publicity is bad publicity. But the main thing behind it is look at the men that we all respect who they've done this to. I'm talking Trump. I'm talking Tate. I'm talking people who are real movers in this world and who won't be silenced and do not conform. Because there's one thing I always tell you guys about conformity. The thing about conformity is everyone will like you. The masses will like you, except you. Everyone will like you, except you when you conform in this life.
Nice, man. One of my first questions was actually going to be that, being that you got now a platform and you have that name, do you have any idea or have you ever been tempted with the thought of softening up for mainstream? Or do you think that going mainstream is a killer of authenticity?
I mean, every single person I know who they placate the masses to say what's acceptable, they all have fake followings. Nobody really follows them. They don't even have a real following. None of the business guys, none of the entrepreneurs online have a real following. None of them. Look at their shit. They hide their likes. They bought a bunch of followers. They thought there was a way around it instead of really talking to their people, really being authentic, and really being themselves. I mean, the thing is, for the most part, a lot of entrepreneurs aren't too social. So they thought there was a way around it. Like they just were taught automate, delegate, build the business, spend as little as time possible in it, and that's winning in the business world. That's not how social media works. Social media works by you actually giving a fuck about your followers. And most business guys aren't taught that. They just actually brought money from another business to this one that they saw that was profitable now in 2025. And so it's not as authentic as someone like me who's been in the trenches and wants to help you get out of them and really answers their messages. I answer all you guys. If you write me, it's me answering you because I love it. I need it.
What's one message that has made you successful that mainstream will not accept?
I mean, just the truth I tell, the facts I bring, the fact that if a man is sitting in front of me, regardless if this is me making it digestible for most people, if I see someone walking up and I look at a man, there's only two answers to that man staying in front of me. Is his life intentional or is he suffering the consequences of his choices? So, I mean, did he intentionally create and achieve his desired result when he's standing in front of me? Did he settle for that wife? Did he settle for that car? Did he settle for that body? Did he settle for that life? Or did he visualize an outcome he wanted and truly achieve it in all areas? That's the difference, intentional or circumstantial. Is this man a victim of his circumstances or did he intentionally create everything I see? Very few people are intentional.
I was going to ask you that. How many people do you think are intentional versus just a result of their...
Very few people actually sought out exactly what they see. They're not visionaries. I'm a visionary. You can tell a visionary by his ability to not accept flaws.
Okay.
So if you look at my house, my pantry is a supplement store. My fridge looks like the fridge in a supermarket.
Yeah.
My cars are perfect. Everything's spotless. My closet looks like a department store. Everything of mine has a vision behind it. You'll see other people that'll post on social media and there'll be a roll of fucking paper towels behind their head, a towel on their gym bar rack, and the colors are all off. Everything's off, and I'm completely thrown off by what the fuck is going on in the disarray in the background. Everything of mine is intentional to create clarity. I need there to be no distractions in my life for me, and that creates clarity for me. If you don't like your car, regardless, negative self-talk will ensue. You'll walk up to your shitty car, you'll say, I don't really like this thing, but I accept it. So now you're settling for something you don't want, and you don't realize you're habitually constructing a mindset that's not conducive towards the abundance that a true entrepreneur would go after.
How do we get people to be more intentional about their lives?
Vision. They have to start off with a direct vision. So you have to sit down with them and they have to say what they want.
Yeah.
So I make people do a higher self creation when I work with them, and they'll do the 10.0 self. Okay, what's your maxed out appearance? What are the habits you partake in and don't if you're the best version of you? What's your demeanor? And what's the energy that people feel from you and you give off? So I create the individual, like the appearance and the aura and the internal attributes of the individual on paper first. I have them admit what they want to be, and then we hold them to it. So I would have Javier be like, well, do you want to be fully tatted? And Javier would be like, I just want sleeves and a chest piece. Okay, we're going after that. How do you want your abs to look? Like, give me the full appearance of yourself. Right. Let's admit it to each other, and then let's fulfill a blueprint that attains it.
How can you distinguish from someone that's giving you like a fake goal? So, for example, someone might say, well, I just want to have a Mercedes as my car. But that could be because they don't think they can get a Lambo or a Ferrari.
I won't let them settle. Okay. And those aren't my people.
Okay.
The people who aren't honest enough to work with me, I turn them away real quick, or I make them admit that they're settling. Okay. And I'll do it in the harshest of areas. I'm like, bro, you settled for your wife. Yeah. You're not attracted to her, bro. Yeah. Like, you're not a good salesman. Like, the best sell you could ever do is from you to your wife or your chick. That's what the fuck you got, bro? Okay. You don't even have what you want in the main area. Like, nobody, let's just go by the percentage of the world. Yeah. Nobody thinks that's fucking attractive. There's no way you do. Well, I fell in love with this stuff about her and personality and this and that. Bro, like, that's okay.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah.
A real dude isn't going to just settle for personality. Yeah. He's going to know that these are all characteristics that are going to be shaped by the man, the leader, and that the woman is going to choose to be to support a man that she feels safe around and trusts. So she's going to, you're not going to just choose her just for looks and she's a shitty person.
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah. Dope fiend, drug addict. No true entrepreneur, smart person would do that. Like, people I'm around don't drink. The women I need in my life, first and foremost, I have to be attracted to. I'm not a fucking liar.
Exactly.
Second, I need this. They need to run to what builds them during times of adversity instead of what breaks them down. Okay. So if during a fight or something we're having, they need to run to God and to the gym instead of to another man and some alcohol. So if your girl runs to what breaks her down, and how do you know what breaks people down? What breaks you down? So once you know yourself, you know everybody else. So whatever breaks you down, and you know what would break you down, to go sleep with women that you're not attracted to because you had a fight with your wife, that would break your soul because you know you're living incongruent with your outcome. And then going to drink or do drugs just to medicate. I mean, people use alcohol and drugs for two reasons. Celebrate, medicate. Celebrate, medicate. And the whole thing is the celebration turns into one long distraction that keeps them from their actual goals. But the whole point is I won't let people lie to me. Okay. So it's going to be really rough to be around me. I'm going to be like, no, fuck that. Like, and the people around me will be like, fuck it. If it ain't veiny, it is fat. And then they'll just get ripped till the veins are popping, and they'll be like, I need to be that vascular because I know that I'm carrying body fat. They'll be like, fuck it, if I don't have abs, I am a bitch. Like, because I want them. And if I can't achieve what I want, then I'm a bitch. I recently had one of the big homies, Big Boy from Strength Cartel, he just got fully chopped. Bro, he just got veiny and ripped and abs at 265, 270.
Jesus.
And this was what was difficult for him. It wasn't difficult for him to press heavyweight, to do all this stuff, to win at social media, to be a polarizing figure, but cutting the weight was. So that's what I respect in a man. Whatever is difficult for that man that I know he went after and achieved, I respect that.
Gotcha. I one of the things that I observe from all your videos is you have a way of mixing spirituality, everything that is connected, as you say, your aura, but you also kind of mix it with a little with some toughness, right? So do you think that is what makes it attractive to most people? Because typically the message nowadays when it comes to that kind of thing with like spirituality is usually soft.
I hate that. You know when God loves you, he's hard on you?
Yeah.
God loves you, he's hard on you as a motherfucker.
Well, they say what tests of God are not blessings?
I mean, bro, if you want to see a man chosen by God, there's two things that you're going to know are very obvious. He's massively blessed, and the tests never end. Because God wants to see how far Javier can go. God wants to see how far West can go. He's like, you made it this far, you may be him. Yeah. You may be the one we've been searching for. And that's the thing about religion versus spirituality. Religion makes you believe that the church is going to save you or religion saves you. Spirituality reminds you that you're the one who's going to save you. And it's just, being more spiritual than religious is a huge thing to me because I believe in God, but I don't believe in the church. I just don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people can feel that way. They don't. I don't like the church, but I live my life as a religious person, as if there's a God, right? Like Jordan Peterson says, like I don't per se believe in God, but I live as if there is a God. So yeah, we can.
Sorry, I didn't tell you my name. My name is Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah, by the way,
You good. We just came in kind of hot, started recording. But one of my questions is, you make your rituals and everything that you do on a daily basis sacred, right?
Yeah.
Wake up, right? Don't eat, gratitude.
Well, I want to ask you about that too, because it seems like you're posting random stuff on social media just to get people triggered. But now that I've been talking to you for a few months, it's very intentional. Like you do a certain amount of posts. You post every time at like 2 in the morning. You do a certain amount of posts, certain amount of podcasts per week. Like you know what you're doing. How do you find out exactly what to do to be able to grow your social media?
I show each day as if it was a lifetime.
Okay.
So in the morning, it's the motivation to do the act.
Okay.
So I'm showing the motivation and giving the words and the motivation to engage in the actions that are going to change our life. Then I show the actions. Okay. So like the workout. And then I go into the results of the actions, the family, the possessions, and those type of things. So, I mean, the whole thing is I don't care what you pursue. I don't give a fuck what you pursue in life. The only way you're going to be successful at that is to create the individual that has solved all foundational issues, all root issues. So it truly is a personal development issue. Everybody buys all these programs for diet and training. They buy real estate courses, they buy trading courses, but they never become a top person at it because of the individual they came in as when they bought the program. It was never the program's fault. Yeah. The program is a blueprint that works for everyone. There's plenty of blueprints out there that work for everyone. But why can't someone apply it? That's a personal development issue. Okay. They're too emotional. They fall victim to their emotions instead of logic. And everyone wants to talk about Chat GPT and AI and shit, like it's gonna save shit. Motherfucker, Chat GPT isn't gonna make you choose chicken over pizza. Only a human being is gonna be able to get you to make that choice. A human being who can remind yourself of your daughter's face that when you're about to make the poor choice, that human being is gonna be able to instill a set of core beliefs and values in you that make you make the choice. So we're all habitual constructs. And the fact that if you make the same choices every day over and over and over and over, well, then they start off as a habit and then they turn into an actual belief system. Yeah. Once it becomes a belief that something offsets a mood or a feeling in you, well, now you've emotionally attached motivation to it. So I don't go to the gym to work out. Yeah. I know I'm not okay inside because I don't have everything I need or want. No man should admit that he has everything he needs or wants. This is a constant pursuit of elevation. So we want to elevate always and always, you know. The whole point though is how do you do that? Exactly. You have to attach it to emotional motivators. Okay. It has to be your kids. It has to be retiring your mom. It has to be all your followers that you know you would let down if you didn't get the fuck up again. And everybody's so selfish, they refuse to do that. They say, fuck it, I don't care what people think. Yeah. When of course they do and should.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a juxtaposition, yeah? Because you don't want to let your emotions take control of you, but you want to attach it to emotional situations that motivate you.
Yeah, right? Energy and motion. Emotions are energy and motion. So it just is positive emotions. Right. Like if you can bring yourself to tears over gratitude and love, that is the most powerful thing. If you can bring yourself to tears over victimization, guilt, and shame, that is the most negative thing. So from high frequency to low frequency, this is our answer. What puts me in a high frequency state? What puts me in a low frequency state? When I'm in a low frequency state, we can equate that spiritually to demonic possession. Like literally these people are possessed with hate and the devil is completely controlling them when they're in a low frequency state. When we're in a high frequency state, we can say this is referred to as, enlightenment is referred to as Christ consciousness, like walking in the footsteps with God and living in alignment with what he's calling you to be. So if we understand it from the spiritual side, this totally makes sense. Demonic possession, you're chasing vices, you get in a state of boredom because you're not on your purpose, your God-given purpose all day long. So you get bored because you get off your purpose. That boredom leads to desires that are out of alignment with your outcome and what God wants for you. That boredom leads to vices. Boredom leads to desire, leads to vices. The vices are what the devil uses to control the masses. So I mean the food, the drugs, the alcohol, the porn, the useless entertainment.
Laziness.
The distractions.
Yeah, I feel like laziness is the biggest one. How do we get people to understand that if you really love your family, you have to work harder for them? Because I see a lot of people that tell me, well, I want to spend more time with my kid, right? But if you're always with your kid, you can't build for him, right?
Yeah, I would rather have my kids say, everybody knows who my dad is than my dad was there every day just being a fucking loser without me. I mean, the whole point is these guys, if you want to lead your family correctly, you report above.
Exactly.
You never report to your family. Whatever your family wants is not what's best for them. Yeah. Your kids aren't evolved enough to know what they fucking need or what's best for them, but God knows. Yeah. And God needs you to be the leader and you to be the example. And if you're not the physical example of the way they should live their life, you need to understand this one quote. Kids always fail to listen to their parents, but they never fail to emulate them. Yeah. They will follow in your footsteps.
That's so true.
My stepdaughter is 12 or 13 and she came to live with us after she went to school in Vegas for a few months. She came around the baby and she talks a different way than we talk. Okay. So the baby started being kind of snappy like a 13-year-old. Like, no, why? Don't do that. Like, and the baby's talking like that at 2. I'm like, when did she start talking like that? Yeah. Oh, she's talking like a 13-year-old who's agitated and frustrated. Okay. So, I mean, and it's completely normal to get frustrated with a child. They never stop. Yeah. And the whole point is her frustration with her, stop, don't do that, I'm doing this, leave that alone, is making the baby talk like that. I mean, go do burpees in front of your 3-year-old. I have
videos of him doing burpees with me.
He will do them, bro.
Yeah, he did them.
He did bench press too.
He did bench presses.
Do we really need to explain anything other than that? Yeah. So if you're sitting there as a fat dad who's not chasing his dreams, what the fuck are you even telling your kids? Yeah. Your words don't matter, motherfucker. Do you have a Bugatti in the garage? Yeah. I told my 13-year-old daughter, drive the Bugatti up and down the street. Fucking drive it. Tell your friends you drove a motherfucking Bugatti. Yeah. You're probably the youngest person on the planet who's driven one. Go. you know? Like fucking.
Probably.
I'm like, drive the Lambo too. Go drive the
go
fucking
drive
the
the-
Rolls Royce. Drive it up and down our street.
See, this is what I like. That so you're having conversations about low frequency and high frequency, and then all of a sudden it's like you're a bitch. You see, this is what I mean. Because typically in spirituality, when they're talking on social media, they're like high frequency, bing.
Well, because they want to be accepted.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, the point is, I want results. I don't want to worry
You don't wanna
about
have friends.
my delivery.
Yeah, exactly.
I want results in people, and I actually have results. And I got my results by being very hard on myself, like God was hard on me. I mean, I may not be the speaker for these soft people. They may need to go through a lot of adversity, really wake up, and then come to me. I'm just not their speaker. But the thing is, they know I'm their speaker. That's why they get so triggered. And the reality of this is the fact. This is the facts. The healer does not heal people. He triggers in them their ability to heal themselves. So I have to trigger you enough to say, fuck it, I'm done being a bitch.
I understand. The rituals that you speak about, so like it's very interesting to me, you know, all these things that you do early. Is there one in particular that is sacred to you that may seem small to others?
It's always a diet. The food will always bring you closer to God, closer to consciousness. The sole origin of consciousness is suffering. The hardest way most of us could suffer in our day, and the most adversity we could choose to partake in throughout our normal day, your mind and your body doesn't know the difference between big bouts of adversity and small ones. It just knows you're not getting your way, and you're okay with it. So I'm choosing to abstain from a desire I want. So that is the strength there. Like if you seriously want to eat some certain foods and you say, no, I demand better of myself. I'm going to choose to stay in alignment with the foods that fit me. I'm going to forego this pleasure, and it's for the purpose of me being a more, a father that shows up better in himself or whatever. The whole intention behind it all is foregoing the desire. So now we're shedding a root problem. If you like to drink, you learn to forego desire. If you want to cheat and you like multiple women, you learn to forego desire. And you learned it in the way that you're forced every day to eat 5 times. So 5 times a day, you're forced to forego the desire. So now that's a root. You're solving that root problem. I worked with one of the most famous people in the world, top 5 famous celebrities on the planet. And he had a porn problem. And I said, how many times a day and he was married to one of the most famous people too. And I say, how many times a day does this desire call you? And he's like, a lot. And I'm like, 20? And he's like, probably 20 times. Until I go actually
you do
handle
it.
Yeah.
Not like he has to do it 20 times.
No, but 20 times a day he's called to do it
Gotcha.
until he goes and handles the issue.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, awesome. This is huge. We have a massive room for growth here. This is the biggest thing.
overcome that
He's like,
one.
why? I'm like, you get 20 opportunities to say no. You don't have 20 opportunities to fail. You have 20 wins under your belt. When you're called to do that thing you know is a L, when you fall for it, you have an automatic 20 wins a day when you say no. Do you know how, and it's the hardest thing for you. Do you know how strong you're going to be if we do a month straight of this? I change his life completely with this.
Don't you think that gets harder as it goes? So for example, like before, I wanted to eat something, I would just eat it, or I didn't want to do something, I just didn't do it. But as you start developing that mindset, you start doing what you're supposed to do, eating what you're supposed to eat. And there's few things that actually bother you at that point. So like now.
Once you can, Stephen Covey said the key to self-mastery is through what we ingest. So as soon as you control what you intake, you can control everything internal. So that's the gateway to controlling your internal state. Your thoughts, your desires, your emotions are all controlled by what you ingest. So if you learn to control everything you ingest, you can control your thoughts at the highest level. You're just like, I don't even go down that road. You've learned to control yourself internally through that, because that was the way we all medicated. We all medicated our feelings and emotions and our problems with food from a young age. We were taught that. Like when we felt bad, we ate something good. And we weren't taught that we were actually feeding the biggest problem that's going to lead to addiction.
Do you continue to have, do you always do it, or are there times where you're like, you know what, I'm going to eat this burger?
I eat everything I want, whenever I want.
Based on macros and stuff like that?
But my whole thing is there's a goal at the time.
Got
If the
it.
goal is to cut, I stick to the goal.
Yeah.
If the goal is to actually put on
Bulk
size
up,
and build
yeah.
muscle, that's actually harder for me.
Okay.
Because I don't like to eat that much.
Okay.
I get detached from the clarity I normally possess. I've eaten nothing today but protein shakes.
Yeah, same here.
So that I could tap into like that real raw energy. When you're hungry, you fight. That's through evolution. When a man is hungry, he'll go kill something.
Okay.
So if you really want to be quick, you eat less, you know.
I didn't even
But the
think
whole
about it
point
that way.
is if you want to build a stronger physique, you're going to have to eat more.
Yeah.
And that's what's actually more difficult for me. So I've turned the tables on this. I've learned to love the fasting. I've learned to love the hunger. I've learned to crave the clarity from God. Do you think people back in the day that were like sacrificing goats and sheep and cows and shit, do you think they were really sacrificing animals and they were sick people? Or do you think they were giving their food away? They were saying, God, this is our food for the week. Like this goat. And they would kill it and they would give it to God. And then they would fast basically because they wouldn't have their food for the week. Now that would open them up as a channel, as a portal, as an antenna to the message they're wishing to download. That's why fasting has been used from spiritual and religious cultures from the beginning. But people think they're just killing animals. Motherfucker, that's their food, homie. This is back in the day. This is before fridges, big dog. You know, like. So I've understood all these deeper things for a long time.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go
Close
ahead. No, go ahead, bro.
You go.
I was going to ask you, so one of the really important questions that I had in mind is, you know how sometimes as we're doing something, we're like, we might get caught, and then we don't, right? Let's say whatever, cheating on your diet, whatever, not going to the gym. We're like, I won't get caught. And then that changes when there's consequences, like you say. So when did that inner voice change from you from survival mode to the actual real voice of, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, once I read one quote, and the quote I read was, your conscience is the authentic voice of God. So I knew once I was being told to do something, I would never be able to get away with it because that wasn't my choice. It wasn't a choice anymore. This was God saying, don't eat that. This was God saying, don't drink that. This was God saying, you're going to get in trouble for that. I mean, there's stuff that's happened in my life that people think is wrong by society, and they don't realize I was blessed by God by doing it, especially the way I talk, especially the way I live, especially the man I've become outwardly. I've been blessed by God because I'm going against society and going for God. They don't realize they're going with society and against God. Even one event that happened recently that is pretty bad in society's standpoint brought me my family back. And people go, man, you're getting negative karma from that event. I said, why? Because society doesn't like me.
Yeah.
I got what I was praying for more than anything back from that event. I got my family back from what you think was so bad. Stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do more shit like that. Maybe that's God saying more men need to do that. Because what fucked up society is men just letting shit fucking slide. And everybody got so weak, so entitled, and so fucking just pathetic as men. Because no men were governing them. A dangerous, disciplined man makes you stand up straighter and work harder. A weak-ass leader lets you slack. I mean, too much kindness breeds a lack of accountability. If you're too kind to your workers, they will fuck you over. Yeah. If they don't know there's consequences, they will fucking ruin your business. They will ruin
do
you.
whatever the fuck they want.
It's a fact.
Well, with that, we have to end the podcast. Fortunately, we got here a little late, but it was a pleasure having you.
We got some gems dropped.
We
We got
did.
some
Yeah,
gold
man, you
for
dropped
them.
some gems. I'm super psyched. I'm a big fan. Really appreciate you giving this the time and
thank
answering
you.
all our questions. And we'll just continue to do what we do, man. We'll be back.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, man.